Hey folks, Charles75N here, and of course we have Charles Greene's Kramer body here on the table. You see we've got a piece of fabric on top of it that is our shirt that we're covering it with, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm still working on a little bit of the layout here, so we're going to do this in sections. So I've kind of got the guitar body laid out where I think I really want it, but I'm just going to glue down one section to make sure I can stretch everything. Since it's a t-shirt material, I want to make sure that I line things up properly. So I'm only going to get really one shot at this. It's not like some of my other ones where I can rip the fabric off, really start over again. And so I want to make sure we get it laid down right the first time. And I've gone to use, I picked up this ink roller, figuring that I could save a lot of money on rollers and a lot of money on glue by spreading out my glue better and not having the roller suck up all the glue. So we'll see how this works out. There we go. So I'm not gluing the whole body, just enough to go ahead and get me where I want to go. I want to be able to see how much I can stretch the fabric here, and where are the places where it's just not going to go where I want it to. So I want to get a little place that is just kind of touched and in place so that I can go ahead and start moving things around and stretching things. Alright, so some of this is going to get sped up because we are still.
Alright, so you're going to hear a whole lot of mumbling in here throughout this. But basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to glue down that center portion and get it perfectly aligned to where Charles and I wanted it. And then from there, you'll see the rest is going to be stretching to go ahead and to see how far we can manipulate the image on the top of the sides of the guitar.
There we go. Just a little bit better.
And so now what you see is I've hit the button on the remote and trying to figure out why my camera angle changed, and it's because I'm completely unorganized. The remote's on the table and now I've got to go ahead and fix it. So, you know, more fun.
Oh, wonderful. You may be hearing some music in the background. That is the local high school football game or practice or whatever starting, which is odd for a Wednesday night, but okay. And we're not getting this where we wanted it. Alright, so what you see here is we've got a little bit of glue that needs to go on ahead and be cleaned up. Of course, we don't want to clean up glue with glue, Charles. So we're just going to wipe that down. Put that down there. And just really clean that lint off so that that lint is not in our way. Good. All right.
Alright, so go ahead and sped this up because this is boring to watch me spread glue. But the idea here is to get a nice coat of glue on there, nice and smooth, so it doesn't represent any problems as the fabric goes down, right? And nothing you're going to have to continually sand over. But it's a really important step in the process to make sure that glue is down nice and smooth and you have good coverage so it's not going to lift later on.
All right, so let's take our fabric back and very carefully we'll figure all that out. Get rid of that. Clean that glue up there, and that glue up there. Okay, good. Excellent.
So here I am trying to get that fabric stretched as far back so we have as much of the graphic on the top as we possibly can. And it's just it's kind of a back and forth. The glue is there, it's kind of helping. It can still slide back and forth. So it's a lot of kind of trial and error here. Normally the fabrics that I use don't have this kind of flexibility in them. So it was something really new to try to go ahead and do. And it does get quite unnerving. I mean, how hard can you pull this piece where it becomes too distorted or because the fabric rips, because it's still only going to give so much. And am I going to have enough flexibility on the top to stretch it as far, because I want coverage on the horns as well, which you don't necessarily. If you've already stretched that fabric so far to the rear, then you're not going to get it onto the front, so you're not going to be able to get it all the way up the horns like you want to. That was why I started by gluing in the center of the fabric and locking that down there, and then stretching backwards, because I was trying to leave myself that flexibility to ensure I'd be able to pull everything all the way up to the horns. But again, even at this point, Charles and I have kind of done some rough layout of what we would like to see, but until you start stretching it itself, you're not really sure what you're going to end up with. And so it kind of gets unnerving when you're going through this.
So now we're going to do the same thing up here. Except this time we're going to go easier on the glue.
Yes, a really important other round of gluing. Again, really making sure you've got that good layer of glue on there and that it's nice and smooth and flat, and that's not going to cause a problem underneath the fabric where you're going to get bumps that you have to just kind of try to sand out through the sanding sealer and through your clear later on to make up for it. And so the more time you take doing that, the better, the more smoother it is, the better finish you're going to end up with.
All the way to there.
The real funny thing here is I didn't realize as I was doing is how much I was just talking to myself rather than talking to the camera and telling you what I was doing. And there are a lot of firsts on this one. This fabric operates a whole lot different than the normal fabrics use. It stretches. Normally I can't stretch a fabric this far. And so it's a lot of real-time thinking going on here. And so not really entertaining conversation for you to listen to. And as I'm going through each step here, as you see me pull fabric down the sides, I'm planning where that fabric is going to end up on the sides, how it's going to wrap around. How can I work with the graphics? When should I be pulling a lot tighter? When should I be letting go a little bit more in order to get something that's going to be pleasing?
Okay, so we've got all right, so we're gonna try something new in here. And basically, I'm going to try something where I glue the fabric on underneath the horns. I think with the t-shirt fabric, I may be able to stretch it. And we'll find out here in just a minute if that's going to work or not.
And one of the things I realized with this fabric was that I was going to go ahead and be able to stretch that fabric over those top horns, which with no other fabric have I been able to do before. So I cannot get the glue on those horns fast enough because I can't wait to see how this is going to shape out. Is it going to work the way that I want it to, or is it just going to be really frustrating and I have to give up? So really worried about it.
All right, let's go ahead and grab that off. Get my fingers cleaned up so I don't put glue all over everything. And believe it or not, I'm going to flip it back over to do this.
I was really excited about this process here, but it was extremely difficult and frustrating, and as you see me wrestle with it here, then it was real funny. So I ended up having to go ahead and do it off camera because I was so worried about what the angle was that and what was being captured on camera that I couldn't really concentrate on what I was doing and where things were ending up. So we did the rest of that off camera.
Okay. Okay, that part's not working out so well. And so we stop recording. I'm going to have to stop recording this in order to sort this out because I can't really see everything I'm doing here. Folks, so we saw that whole sequence of me trying to go ahead and lay out the fabric. It was a little bit more difficult than I expected because the t-shirt material, it stretches a lot easier and trying to get it to line up exactly where I wanted to wasn't really going to happen completely on the camera. And you can see that I've gone ahead and I've wrapped the sides off camera. And that was a lot of tugging and a lot of gymnastics that just wouldn't have been very interesting watching for you. I will assure you there was a lot of cursing involved in it, so you did, that is one thing you did miss out on. All right, so that's that.